Hey, what up, team? It's Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today we breaking out the old Green Mountain Grill, getting ready for Thanksgiving, and we're gonna do it a little different than normal. Not my normal savory turkey. This time we come with a nice Cajun turkey on the rack, on the old pellet grill. Let's go. And cut the music. Team, you know what time it is. We over here in this old kitchen and we got this butterball here cleaned up a little bit, or at least unthawed. So let's just go over some basics real quick, shall we? I'll make sure I throw a link in there so you can see what we did last year for our turkey, but this year we're gonna actually just be doing some injection. Last year we did a brine. First things first, you know these turkeys are gonna come frozen. Make sure that you plan some time ahead that you're going to be able to throw this in a pan and put it in your refrigerator and unthaw it. Or you can put it in some cold water, a whole sink full of cold water, and then let it go that way. It'll be a little bit faster. That's what I just did. Let's just go over some basic things. Make sure, take the time to clean your sink out before you get to doing all of this. The other thing, make sure that you go ahead and clean out everything around your sink. That way you don't got a whole lot of worry about things getting contaminated. And then when we do, go ahead and take out all the nastiness in the middle and rinse this bird off and everything. You don't need your water that high. That way you're not splashing all of that juice all around. So there's a couple quick things that I'm going to talk to you about. This bird right here is about 11.75 pounds, just a good old-fashioned butterball. So you probably can find one of these at your local grocery store. I'm about to clean this thing out and get it over here in the pan. All right, so we got that all cleaned up. Got rid of some of this tail and everything. Usually they got these legs all locked in and everything. I want to open that up so I can clean out that cavity, get that stuff up out of there. On top of the fact, I want that to be open so I can get more heat up in there. I'm also going to be throwing some seasoning, some butter in there. But other than that, we got this thing wiped down, cut off a little of that extra fat. I got a couple little imperfections on my skin there. No big deal. The next thing that I'm about to do before we get into this injection is I want to pat this thing dry and get all of the water that I can up off of here, all the moisture, and get this thing nice and dry. And then we're coming back and I'll show you this injection. All right, as you see, we got it all dried up, in and out and down, all the way around. Today's seasoning is we're going to be putting together this Cajun bird. Now, a lot of times I'll go with Tony Chachere's Cajun butter. I'm going to be going with some of this Creole butter from Zatarain's. I'm already feeling good about that. What we want to do is, shake it up, right? We're going to be hitting pretty much all your main places. You know, we got a couple times that we want to hit in here on this breast, on both sides. You want to make sure that you get some into your wings down here. Make sure you hit this leg a couple times. I'll hit this breast a couple times from the side and everything. And we're going to puff this thing up, make it look like a superhero. Okay? First thing that I'm going to do, though, is some of this butter we're going to be saving, and you don't want to contaminate it. So go ahead and pour this out. I got me a nice small little tall glass that I'll pour out some of this butter into. That way I'll be able to have this as still my clean container. And then it comes with its own injector. These usually work pretty well. Let me get this thing open and rinsed off and everything, and then we'll get to shooting this bird up. All right, so we got that all together. I used pretty much probably about half of it. Here, right there. This is what we're going to be injecting in. And then we'll go ahead and put the rest of that in the fridge. Got my injector all cleaned up. First thing we do, I want to hit this breast in the key places right up here and there. Keep a look at it now. It's time for me to puff it up. All right, we got our first few spots, 4 spots hit. One down, you see one up there, one there, and one there. And you kind of start seeing this baby starting to puff up. I'm about to move towards the back, and we're going to hit it with a couple right here. And then we're going into our legs. So we got us one back here, kind of getting the back side of this, or the top, however you want to look at it. The top side of this breast taken care of. We've hit 2 on the legs, 1 on the inside, and 1 on the outside. Getting these babies plumped up, and it ain't too hard to tell. If you got too much of it squirting out, you might have to, you can use the same hole, but maybe you need to redirect the needle. Try not to hit no bone. Find a nice open area, and I like to inject and make sure I'm pulling out on the way while I'm injecting so that I can kind of spread around. So then again, 1 on the inside, 1 on the outside there. Now I'm about to hit up both of these wangs, and we looking good. All right, now we got them legs taken care of. And keep in mind, I'm just adding a little bit of flavor to the inside. We don't got to go too crazy. We're trying to pump this thing up with all juice. You'll probably end up seeing a little bit of this injection when we cut it out, but we'll see with it being so dark. Had to add a little bit more into my cup. So what we're going to be doing next is I want to get some all on the inside of this cavity. And then what's left over, I want to pour and rub it all over this bird. We're not going to be using no kind of binder. We're just going to be using that garlic butter as our binder. So inside the cavity with half of it, pour it all over the top, rub it all around, got my glove on, and then this is going to be ready to go ahead and sit up. I'll give it about an hour or so in the fridge before we get out here to the smoker. And that's it. All right. So we got all this good juice. Man, it smells amazing. Inside the bird, right? Inside that cavity, we got some of that butter. And then just used it, poured it right over the top, and rubbing down the whole thing. So that way we got some of that good Creole garlic butter over here all over the top of it before we actually season it up here. I'm gonna let this hang out in the fridge, like I said, for a couple hours, and I'm gonna bring you back when we get this smoker up to 10. All right, it's about that time for the magic. So we got that turkey sitting out here, gave it a little bit of time to start to somewhat come up to 10, but it ain't been out the fridge that long. You see we got some of that leftover juice that can kind of pour it out of there and everything. So this is what I'm about to be doing. I'll be taking my handy dandy glove. I'm gonna be using that, and while I still got a good amount on here, I'm gonna re-rub this whole thing back down with what's already on here. Then I'm gonna hold this bird up, and I want to pour that last little bit of butter right off inside of the inside of that cavity. And then we're gonna go ahead and get this baby seasoned up all the way around with some of this Cajun rib rack rub. Now, I got a couple other Cajun rubs. I could have easily went with my Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. I also got Louisiana's Creole seasoning or Cajun rub. But both of those are pretty salty for me. And being that I'm already injected this thing, this one here, I like this. The newer rub I just went to try. It's got a great bit of Cajun flavor, not so much salt though. So with that said, we're going to cover this bird up nicely and get it nice and dark. So give me one quick second. Let me get this thing re-wet and pour the inside juices in this cavity. All right, I'll tell you what, that is so much easier doing that outside than inside. Talk about not making no mess and not having to worry about too much. So now we're about to start with this rub. I'm going to start on the back side first. I'm going to be more or less holding it right through the middle, and then I'll kind of be able to rotate it all the way around and get it a nice cover. If we leave it in spots where you had to touch it and put it onto the grill and everything, it's not a big deal. We'll just touch it up with a little bit of seasoning once we get it on there. Hey, I wanted to jump in here real quick and let you know thanks for following along on today's cook. If you're new to the channel, go to that bottom right corner, make sure that you subscribe, check out some of the other videos that you've missed. And for everybody that's been here, I appreciate y'all. Happy upcoming Thanksgiving. Be safe, and let's get back to this work. Count it. Needless to say, you done bought this bird. Don't be afraid of it now. You got that glove on. Make sure you lift them wings up, pull them things out the way, lift them legs up. You want to get seasoning all around this baby. I took it again, and then after I got done seasoning, re-poured all that butter and all of them seasoning, seasoned it up inside of that cavity. Make sure you get a little something all the way around this baby so we get us a beautiful looking bird. It's going to be nice and Cajun flavored. I'm going to let this hang out 1 second. I'm going to take you over here to the old Green Mountain, and I'll let you know about what we're going to be doing as far as our cook. All right, team. So like I've told you before, it's always a good thing to go ahead and get this grill started early. Even though it doesn't take that long to come up to temp, I found that my temps stabilize much better once it's been flowing for a while, so I treat it just like my offset. It's kind of going back and forth, so you might not be able to really see it in this light, but we're at 325. We'll be cooking this bird. My bird is 11.75 pounds. Pretty little flower coming back. We getting into the good season, so now I can do some planting. It's kind of crazy because I know everybody else is getting cold, but planting season over here in AZ. As far as my pellets, we going with that old Costco signature blend yet again. Them barbecue hardwood pellets from Kirkland is the ones. Oak, hickory, maple, cherry. This is going to give us a beautiful flavor. It already smells great out here. I love the way these pellets come together as far as a blend. I've told you before, for $14.99, I want to say this is a 50-pound bag. Cannot beat it. I've had no issues. So from now on, I'll be rolling with this until something sits me different. But with that said, let's go ahead and get this bird onto the rack. Man, you can already smell this bird. Telling you, that Cajun seasoning along with that Creole Zatarans. You already know about Zatarans. If you don't know about Zatarans, you need to get hit. That Zatarans, you already know, it's got some good flavor in there, but as soon as it hit this steam and grill at 325, we is ready to rock. So not a whole lot to do here. I will be probing this bird later, but for right now I'm just gonna let it get some color, and it makes it a lot easier because I'm gonna be getting to rotate here. I'll come back in about an hour, I'll rotate it, and once I rotate it, maybe we'll go ahead and probe it. I'm expecting with this 11.75, basically 12-pound bird, we're going at 325. This is gonna take somewhere between 3 and 3.5 hours. So I'm gonna go an hour like this. I'll bring you back, let you check that out. We'll rotate it to the other side, and then we'll start bringing out some of that butter and getting it a little bit basted and get the probes in, and we'll finish it out. All right, we are dialed in at 325. Ain't moving, I love that. It's been about an hour. Let's take us a peek. Yeah. Man, this thing smells amazing. So that's all we're gonna do. I'm gonna give it a 180 turn. Before I do, I am gonna just hit it with a little bit of olive oil, and then we're just gonna keep it going. I'll bring you back in an hour. And that's all she wrote. Nothing else to do here. Let this hang out. It's getting that nice darkish color, that nice Cajun look. Go ahead and get you the rest of that smoke. All right, team, it's 2 hours in. Last time I was in here, I broke it down and went down from 325 to 300. Yes. Starting to look nice and Cajun in here, which is what we expect. Keep in mind, this is going to end up being a little bit darker bird. We're going on the rack the whole time. We're doing Cajun style seasoning, which ends up a little bit darker looking on the back end. But man, this thing smells amazing. Look at that flavor coming up out of there. So this is what I'm about to do this time. We're going to finally go ahead and get these probes up in here so we can keep an eye on what this bird is doing. Like I said, I brought it down to 300 because it looked like it was cooking a little bit fast. The back's definitely a little bit hotter, so I'm about to rotate this bird. We're about to put a probe in one side of the breast, and then I'll also get me one on the opposite side down in the leg, and then we'll kind of monitor this thing out. Like I said, we was expecting around between 3.5 hours of cooking. So let me get these probes in. Let me get this baby rotated. This time I'm just going to do a 90-degree turn, and then I'll let you see what it look like. All right, check that baby out. Looking great. So I got my probes in. You can see we got a probe back there on my breast. I'm reading at about 138-ish in there. And then I got one up here in my leg, and you can just tell by the pullback these legs was getting a little more done. So, and they're gonna go up a little bit higher too, so I'm not too worried about that at all. They're sitting at about 165-ish, so we got about a good 20 degrees or so difference between the two, about 25, whatever have you. Not too worried. So now I got the breast back towards the warmer side of my grill. We're gonna let this hang out. I'll bring you back. I can kind of monitor the temps and everything now, and pretty much want to wait until we're right inside, maybe my last 15 minutes before I start basting with that little bit of Creole butter. You gotta be careful. You don't want your butter to burn all up, so that's gonna be kind of a last step. I give it a little quick spritz of that olive oil, and it's good to go. All right, here we are, 3 hours in. I've already gave this thing another 90-degree turn. Look at it. Ain't she lovely? This beautiful Cajun bird, man. This is gonna be fire. My little legs drying up like I expected. You see them pulling back nice and tight. As far as my meters, they're giving me a decent reading. I have came in here with my handy dandy. You better make sure you check Got the old Thermopro in there. I didn't hit every spot. My legs was about between 170-ish, 175-ish. 156 on this side, on the breast. So we ain't not too far from home. We not too far from home. This is what we gonna do. I went ahead and took some of that Zatarain's garlic Creole butter, some of that we didn't use, right? Remember we put half of that mixture to the side, and now I'm gonna do, pardon my reach, we're just gonna give it a little bit of candy. Get it a little wet. Get a little bit of that Creole butter on there to kind of finish it off with. And it's gonna tack up and give me a nice glaze. My bark is already set, but I'm not gonna mess with it. I want it to stay pretty. I'm gonna finish this up, and you can get you a peek of what we doing here. That's to finish it off with that last flavor profile right back on the top of that garlic butter. I'm not gonna bore you. Had to bring you in here. 3 hours, 40 minutes. We almost there, kinfolk. Hit it with just a little bit more of that butter. Look at this beautiful bird, man. I'm telling y'all, like I told you before, this big spatula game. That ain't nothing but my Blackstone spatula. Hit a little bit right there in a couple little spots. And I can imagine maybe another 10 minutes and it should be about out of here. Yeah, baby. Check it out, check it out. Just pulling this thing off. Look at my beautiful coloring. Got that nice Cajun look to it. It's gonna be some nice skin that's gonna be on there. And I'm telling you, I already tasted a little bit off the bottom as this thing was kind of pulling away. It's so flavorful. That Creole butter do wonders. Let me pull this in. About to go sit this in the oven, lightly tinted. Let it hang out for about 20 minutes or so. And then we'll get us a taste. All right, there's a better shot real quick while I'm in here with the light. Let's go ahead and put this thing away and let it chill out for a little bit. Finish getting ready, but man, you see my flavor is, or my color is beautiful. Flavor I've already tasted is ready, and the smell is absolutely fantastic. This is gonna be a great little switch up to my normal turkey. All right, last looks before we dive into this thing. My color came out beautiful. This Cajun bird, while I've already kind of tasted just some of the skin, you know, that came off the bottom of my spatula, man, it smells amazing, tastes amazing. Super easy. Injected it, ended up taking about 4 hours, 15 minutes. Keep in mind, I almost was at 12 pounds as far as the size of this bird, and I took down my temperature from 325 to 300 after about an hour in the cook. Just didn't want to burn it up too much, and I wanted to make sure I got a little time to get a little bit of smoke in here. You know, sometimes it's better when you take some time, baby. So that's what we came out with. I'm so not mad at it. Normally I would have went with an herbaceous type of a turkey with, you know, the traditional type of flavors that you get with Thanksgiving, but this one here, we went Cajun style. We stayed on the rack the whole time, but I tell you what, it is juicy, and I'm ready to taste. So let me flip this camera around. Let's get us a taste. All right, so let's get into this thing. We're gonna dive in. Before I do, shouts out to all my boys over there with Black Smoke Barbecue, everybody that's always following along, and obviously all the family. Let's taste on this turkey, shall we? I'm thinking about carving this up, but truthfully, we're gonna go into that caveman style. I'm coming right off with this leg. Oh yeah, give me that. I'm gonna bring it in there close so you can check this thing out. Hopefully this thing will lock in, but cheers to you. Man, that Creole butter, something else. Yes, we ain't even to the holiday yet, so best believe, you know I got some good stuff planned. I'm gonna talk with my mouth full, but first things first, I'm going to catch y'all next week. Joe Mill here with Black Smoke Barbecue. Peace.